Let's talk about what is MLOps actually. You have seen the word 100 times already by now. Job posts, your LinkedIn feed, every other course on the internet is talking about it. And most explanation make it sound like some brand new universe that you have to learn from the scratch. It really isn't that rocket science. So let me do this. First, I'll tell you what MLOps actually is, why it blew up in the past few years, and a few myths I keep seeing people trip over. Then I'll show you the exact path I would follow to learn it actually in 100 days. What MLOps actually is, here's the plain version of it. A data scientist trains a model. It hits 94% accuracy on the test set and everyone is thrilled, right? 3 months later, it quietly start making bad calls and nobody can tell you why. The reason is almost the same. The data shifted underneath and the model stayed frozen. Nobody versioned the code, nobody watched for drift, and there was no automated way to retrain and ship a fix. MLOps is a bit that closes that gaps. It's what takes a model from work in my notebook to work in production and keep working 6 months later. Versioning, automation, monitoring, shipping, everything you have heard all of those words before, right? That's the whole trick. MLOps is just DevOps pointed at models instead of microservices. So if you remember one line from this introduction is MLOps is how a model survives the real world after training day, how it gets constant updates, fine-tuning, deployment, and everything that a DevOps lifecycle has, but for ML models. Why it matters now? Why is this suddenly everywhere? Everyone's building models and almost none of them ever reach production. Companies spend the last few years training models. Now they actually have to run them in front of real users without failing over. Turns out that's the hard part and nobody really budgeted for it. The MLOps market is projected to grow around 37% a year through the early 2030s as companies scramble to operationalize all the AI they have been hyping. So demand is real and it's climbing. The number of people who can actually do this work still pretty thin, which honestly is the whole opportunity. The model exists, the people who can ship them and keep them alive don't yet. That gap is where you come in. 3 myths about MLOps before we go further. I actually believed a couple of these myself, so no judgment on this. Myth number 1 is MLOps is just for data scientists. Nope. Most of the MLOps is plain operation work. If you are a DevOps engineer or a cloud engineer, this is what you do. Myth number 2, you need heavy maths and deep ML to touch this. In most MLOps role, you're not even training the models. You are versioning it, getting it deployed, watching it in production, automating the boring part. That's MLOps engineering. You don't need a PhD for it. Myth number 3, it's a whole new stack and you are starting from zero. Also not true. CI/CD, containers, Kubernetes, monitoring, you already use this stuff every day. MLOps just aims at it at the data and models instead of apps. So if you already know DevOps or cloud, you're not starting over. I would say you are more than halfway there already. Now, knowing what MLOps is doesn't teach you MLOps. For that, you need a structured hands-on path that walks you across the gap one step at a time. The best one I have come across is KodeKloud's 100 Days of MLOps challenge. So let me show you how it actually gets you there in 100 days. But you know how I work. I only promote the stuff that I actually believe in. So I went ahead and reviewed the content and MLOps challenge myself before recording any of this. I'll tell you what genuinely impressed me and one thing I would still want you to keep an eye on. I covered 100 days of DevOps before. Here's what happened. Some of you will remember I covered the 100 days of DevOps channel from KodeKloud a while back and a lot of you have actually went and did it. I got a lot of DMs and LinkedIn mentions appreciating the challenge. If you haven't tried it, you can find it all the links in the description below. So when KodeKloud told me they have built the same thing for MLOps, yeah, I paid attention to it. What the 100 days of MLOps challenge actually is, think of it as a roadmap that take you from where you are today to production ready over 100 days. 100 real tasks, 1 task a day, 12 MLOps domains covered start to finish, 3 skill levels so it scales from beginner up to advanced, and a full-fledged capstone at the end that pulls the whole thing together. There are no slide decks, no lecture videos to half watch, and no dumbed down simulator pretending to be the real thing. Every task drops you straight a live environment with a clear objective. Then there's the automated validation that tells you the second you have actually completed the task. These are the same tools production teams reach for, running on real infrastructure that KodeKloud spin-ups for you. Let's talk about the 100-day roadmap. It starts where every real ML system starts, structuring the project. setting up the environment, getting the boring fundamentals actually solid before anything else. Then it builds, data versioning, then training, then deployment, then monitoring. Every day leans on the one before it. And by day 100, you haven't just watched MLOps happen, you have done it by yourself in the live environment on the same production stack Teams uses. You also walk away with a few real things, a portfolio of finished work you can actually pull up in an interview, a KodeKloud badge that's backed up by 100 completed tasks rather than 10 question quiz, and that quiet confidence that only shows up after you have actually shipped the thing. The tools you will use, let me walk you through the actual stack. First, DVC, data version control. It lets you version your data sets, same way you already version code. Data sets, model versions, pipeline output, all tracked across your experiments. Then ML flow for experiment tracking. Every run logged, every metrics you can compare side by side. No more digging through notebooks asking which one had good results. Then Fast API and Bento ML are how you serve a model as a real API. Actual production serving, not a model.predict setting in the notebook cell. Evidently handles drift. It catches data drift and model drift before your users ever feel it. And Argo CD, and perfect on Kubernetes for orchestrating ML pipelines and scale. This part is where your Kubernetes experience suddenly become a genuine superpower. Now, if that whole list looks like a lot, relax. You don't need to know any of this on day one. The challenges introduce each tool in an order of production engineer would actually reach for it. Now let me share my screen and try to complete a simple starter beginner level task for you. So this is the landing page that you will go to. Don't worry about it. I will share the link in the description below. So you'll get it everything from there. So if you are new on the KodeKloud platform, you can just sign up from there. I already have an account, so I'm just gonna do the sign in. And yes, it is free of cost, so don't worry about it. I'm gonna explain how it works. Okay, so you just sign in using the address like email ID you already have. I have just signed in using Google ID. And here's the challenge. This is the landing page that you will see, which says master the full MLOps cycle hands-on and start now. So I'm just gonna click over here, and you can watch the video if you want to get some introduction about it, but I'm just gonna skip the video and let's go next. And okay, let me just add my details over here. Okay, so it shows which topic you would like to start with. There are different challenges that's been going on. So I'm just going to start 100 days of MLOps. So it's already selected. Let's hit done. Okay, now I'm here. There are different challenges. I'm gonna click over here, 100 days of MLOps, start. And here are all the tasks. As you can see, all the other tasks are unlocked, because if you are on a free plan, which is what I am right now, only one task per day will be unlocked, right? But if you want the maximum benefit out of it, or if you want to speed up your learning journey, you can go ahead and buy their plan, and then you can unlock more tasks as well. Okay, for now let me just start. All right, so the lab environment have been provisioned. On the left you have your task, okay, and on the right you have your terminal with the VS Code. So here's your terminal that comes within the VS Code, and here's a README file about the terminal, about how you can navigate through it and everything, right? So what we'll do is we'll try to follow this task, which says create a Python virtual environment named MLENV under root code using Python 3-MVENV. So let's start with creating the Python virtual environment first. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this command, and I'm currently in the same path, which is root code. So that's okay. I'm just gonna paste this. Now it says the following argument are required, which is envdir. So I'm just gonna provide this, and the environment name is MLENV. I'll just paste it over here. Okay, and it says the environment has been created. You can check the folder created over here with the name MLENV. Okay, this is good. Now it says activate the environment. Okay, so to activate the environment, there will be an activate file inside this directory, inside the bin directory. Okay, so let's go inside MLENV and bin, do an ls, and you will see the activate file. So let's just do a source activate. Okay, the environment has been activated. As you can see, now you are inside that virtual environment. The next is we need to install these packages. Okay, So NumPy, pandas, skeleton, and matplotlib. Okay, so I'm just gonna do pip install numpy, okay, and like the rest of the packages as well. Pip install pandas, I think we can do it together. So let's just try this, skeleton and matplotlib. So that's been done. Now generate a requirement.txt file using pip freeze. So let's just run pip freeze, okay, and you will see the requirement actually not in this directory. Let's go back inside code and pip freeze. Let's use requirements.txt because the file has to be saved over here in the root code directory. Okay, so pip freeze, and I'm redirecting it to requirement.txt. Okay, you can just quickly do a cat on the requirement.txt and you will see all the packages, versions, and everything, right? So now let's just do a check. Are you sure you want to mark the task as completed? Okay, let's do a confirm. Okay, now it's blinking, it's checking, and it's green. That means the task has been completed and it will mark the task as finished. And now you can move to the next tasks tomorrow, because as I've told you, in the free version you get one task per day. Okay, so let me just close this lab. Okay, and it will show you the leadership board and you can share your success card with other community members and so on. So here's one task completed, 0 pending, 1 unlocked. Because if I click on that, you see you can revise. That means you can retake this task as well. Okay, but you need to wait for one more task to appear, which is tomorrow. Let me provide you some more details about how Axis actually works. Let me be straight about the money side because someone always asks in the comments. Enrolling is free. There's no credit card, no trial, and genuinely no catch I could find. As you can see, I was just using a free trial account. Free users get one task a day. That's the pace the challenge was built around. So roughly 20-30 minutes of focused work. If you want to go faster, the paid plans unlock more tasks per day, but you really don't need to upgrade to finish this. The free pace works fine for almost everyone, and KodeKloud provisions the entire environment for you. There is no cloud bill landing in your inbox, no infrastructure to babysit on your end. You just show up and build. So to keep it simple, free to enroll, one task a day, and they handle all the infrastructure. My honest take, so here's where I actually land on it. I have seen way too many challenges that turn out to be a quiz wearing a costume. This one isn't that. The live environment are real, the validation is real, and the tool list is honestly exactly what I would want a junior MLOps engineer walking in already knowing. What got me was that demo loop. Browser opens, terminal's right there, you do the work, it checks on you and on the spot. That kills the number one reason people quit these days, which is the setup friction before you have even started. Now, my one honest caveat that the one task per day is enough for anyone to learn for free. You can go watch YouTube videos to learn and use this free hands-on challenge to practice. However, if you still wish to fast pace your practice, then you can think of taking the pro plan. So who's this actually for? DevOps and cloud engineer who want to step into AI without throwing away what they already know. Data scientists who can train a model but never had to ship one. And anyone who wants to be production ready in MLOps, not just comfortable in a Python notebook. Where to start? Last thing, and this one actually matters. If you haven't done the 100 days of DevOps or 100 days of cloud challenges yet, these are both still alive and still free, and honestly they are perfect warm-up before MLOps. Same format, same quality. So don't think MLOps as some standalone island. It's really just the next step after DevOps and cloud. Start with whichever one matches where you are at right now. If you are already comfortable with DevOps and cloud, go straight into MLOps. And if you are new to all of these, start with DevOps and work your way up. All three links are down in the description and pinned in the first comment. MLOps, DevOps, cloud. Pick your starting line, drop a comment and tell me which one you are kicking off. I do read all of the comments and I genuinely want to see how it goes for you. If this helps, hit subscribe. I've got a follow-up coming where I push through the first week of MLOps task on camera. That's it from me. Now go build something that actually survives the production. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Happy learning.